How you doing, Duff here? As you can see, there's a very large box that was delivered to our house today, and I picked it up a little bit, and this box and the weight of it is very close to what I remember the Gotway monster being. So I've heard everybody from the New York crew comment on how substantial this wheel is, so I can confirm that. This just arrived today, sent by Chris Yim. And I appreciate all the great testing that he's done. The community up in New York City, him and all the other people that rode the wheel. I think they really did a good job of giving some valuable feedback on the wheel. I need to try to do this without damaging the box much because this wheel has 2 more stops to make. So, let's see if I can do my best to do that. Okay, there we go. CD of some sort. It's probably the charging. The charging adapter. The trolley handle and mudguard. Alright, and we get down to the big behemoth. It's heavy. There you go. The one and only Ninebot Z10. Oh, someone scraped the pedals. Oh no. That's okay. So let's see if Chris left me any charge here. Sean can figure out where the button is. There we go. Oh no, look at that. Full charge. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. That's very nice. All right, so let me assemble the trolley and the mudguard, and so we can get busy. Okay, so one thing I can confirm immediately is the Ninebot Z10 is the thickest wheel I've ever worked on. It actually doesn't. I tried to put it on one of my stands. It doesn't fit on any of the stands. I would need to make something even wider to attach this. There's a bunch of the instructions. Look at the instructions regarding the mudguard and trolley handle. And it's kind of hard to translate how it's supposed to go. How does that go on there? All right. So anyway, I'm working with the Chinese instructions, and let me get this attached, and then I'll recap it as soon as I'm back. Okay, it's a little odd. You got 5 screws here. Take those out, and then there's like a little filler piece that you just pop out. I guess if you don't want to use the trolley handle, you just leave that in there. So take that out, and then you have the room to slide this into that slot. So I need to do the same thing on the other side. And they do provide a little tool for taking these screws out. It's a hex head. So that's handy. Okay, I got the second insert out. So now I should be able to attach the mudguard. Right. Okay. Now there was one loose screw in the box, and I assume maybe it goes here. There's 2 holes up at the top to secure the mudguard. So I'm thinking the screw might be for that. Maybe I'll find the other one, maybe I won't, but I don't know if it matters or not. Let's see. That appears to be too big of a screw for that spot. Okay. So then instead I will install these 2 side screws. So basically the process is you install the mudguard and then you install the trolley handle on top of it. So there's 2 screws a piece that are used for the mudguard. I'm sorry, 2 screws on each side for the mudguard, including 2 up top, which I'm not quite sure where they are, and then 3 are used for the trolley handle. Okay, so now we have the mudguard on. Let's see what that looks like by itself. It's very, I mean, it almost looks like it's part of the mold. It's you're definitely not going to have water spraying up if you affix the mudguard for sure. It's pretty slick engineering here. It's very tight tolerances, but the trolley handle does just fit very snugly around the mudguard. said, you just have 3 screws on each side to hold that in. Very well engineered setup, but that's kind of what I would expect from a Ninebot. Okay, I have it on. One screw did not go into the trolley handle. I wonder if that brass insert is possibly damaged, so I'll hold on to that, pack it back up. There you go. Trolley handle's on. And yeah, this was commentary from other people how it feels a little flimsy. It does, especially based on the weight of the Ninebot and how there's no, there's a little bit of a locking detente there, but not much. It's not substantial, so it would be easy to have it slip down as you're using it. So, okay, I think I'm about ready to ride this thing. It is crazy how wide that tire is. I can almost make it just stand here. Look at that. Wow. That is a wide tire. Alright, here's some quick size comparisons. There is the Z10 against a Monster. And even though it looks like it's you know, maybe 2/3 of the size at max, it feels like it weighs almost the same, and it is close because that's an 1600 watt Monster, so that's about 60 pounds, and the Ninebot Z10 is 55. Oddly enough, though, the Monster, even though it has a much larger diameter tire, the pedal height actually looks very similar as far as the clearance of the ground between the Z10 and the Monster. It's surprising. Alright, there we go with the Z10 compared to my M Super V3. That's not an S3 Plus, that's an original V3. Size-wise, it's very comparable. Again, surprisingly, it looks like the Z10 pedals are slightly higher than the M Super. The reason I find that surprising is because I thought there was a lot of commentary at one point where people were saying that the Z10 pedals were low, but they don't look any lower than what I already have. And just for fun, there you go, the Z10 against the M10 III. They're not obviously competitive wheels. Intended use is much different, but there you go. That's what an M10 III looks like next to a Z10. Okay, so before I take it outside, I need to get I do have the Ninebot app already on my phone, dating back to my Mini Pro days, and I did update it the other day in anticipation of this, so let's see if we can connect to the wheel. I know when Chris had it, he said that he applied, I guess, an update that the wheel was asking for. Okay, searching. Alright, that sounds good connected. Remaining mileage at 53. Okay, nice. I'll mess more with the app settings later, and then you can adjust a whole bunch of stuff. The most important thing that I'm interested in is the riding settings. To see what it's set at. The alert at 20 miles an hour, and just have the 27-mile-an-hour alert on. Assisted braking I have turned on, and somewhere there's a setting for ride hardness, like the old Ninebot 1 had. Okay, I've not found out the firmness setting yet. I guess I will look around for that later. So at this point, I think I'm ready to take it outside. Okay, so some initial observations about the exterior of the wheel. Pedals, here's the Ninebot 1 pedals design, which people aren't real happy about, although I did see online something about that they're going to install pre-cut grip tape to install here, so you have better traction. I know Chris and the guys attached this grip tape up here because they were having issues with slipping, so it sounds like the production units will have grip tape installed, or it will come with the wheel. Fit and finish of the wheel looks as you would expect with a Ninebot wheel, very professional. Back here, I believe, you know, That's the disengage button for the wheel, so when you pick it up it doesn't spin. And it makes a little audio noise when you do it, so you can kind of tell that it's disengaged. That's a nice feature, something the Inmotion V5F has already. That I own that wheel. It's a nice feature, but it's not a make or break thing for me. Up top here you have a rubber cover covering the charge port. You have a super visible battery indicator, which is really nice, right here on the top. And on the other side, I saw this, it was a little strange, or it wasn't strange, but I didn't know what it was. I have this cover here, and it looks like what this actually is the way that you access the inflator. Like if you have to add air, you do it through this hole, is what it appears to me. So that's a new approach to that issue that I've never seen before. Got the trolley handle on there, nice and secure. And, you know, like everyone said, it's not great, but it's serviceable. It'll get the job done. Easy to retract. I think I'm ready to step on this thing and hope I don't kill myself. So even though the pedals are not very long, they are wider than I recall with the Ninebot ones. Actually have some space on the outside of them, which I'm not used to. But here we go. This is the the maiden voyage of first Old Florida EUC rider and a Z10.
Did you say Old Florida?
Old Florida rider.
Oh, Old Florida. Sorry, I said Old Florida. How's it feel?
Going straight, it feels very easy to go straight.
My turns are hard, I guess.
Takes some getting used to. Yeah, but going straight, it wants to go straight because the tire is so fat. Yeah, you'll have no problem trying to get straight. Just one time to stand up.
I gotta wear my knee brace. That's weird.
It's a different experience, right?
Is it really?
The physics of it are different. It's heavy, but it's not tall like it's okay, so that feels interesting. I heard Chris describe how when you're going straight, it's almost like you hardly have to balance. It wants to stay straight because that you have so much surface area on the pavement. The pedals are interesting. Like I said, they seem to be the same length as a Ninebot 1 E+. Unfortunately, I don't still have mine, but it seems like they're much wider. Maybe my memory is just bad, but I don't recall having that much width. I mean, this feels wider than my M Super pedals that I have on the M Super and on the Monster. So. That's odd. I don't remember anyone else describing that, but it definitely feels wide to me. So I don't know. But I need to ride around some more and test. The Z10 does not have any side pads, which Ninebot already did with the S1 and the S2. So yeah, I'm curious how it's going to feel when I need to try to lean into it. Because I find myself wanting to put my feet out so I have some more room to angle the bot, but when you do that, then you don't have any contact with the shell if you want to try to squeeze it and lean. So it just takes some getting used to. Power-wise, my initial feeling, and again, this was just very limited, but I would say it feels similar to the M Super, which I like. It seems to ramp a little bit, but again, maybe I'm not ramp slowly, I should say, but maybe I am not leading as aggressively as I need to. So I need to do a lot more practice, obviously. But it's cool, man. It's a different feeling, very, very different. If I used one word to describe how the Z10 feels right now, it would be dense. Just feels like a very dense wheel. Yeah, dense. Trolley handle's definitely a good thing unless it's arm day, you know. This thing is not light. Alright, we're hoping to hop in the Prius here and go over to the school and ride. There's a big nasty gray cloud in that direction, but hopefully its bark is worse than its bite. We'll see. Z10 Mini Pro assorted equipment. Okay, we are at the school where I cut my teeth and bruised my body learning.
Me too.
While Cindy rode the Mini Pro around.
This school is our school.
Yes, this is our EUC school. So I'm just going to ride around the property here and see how some of the things I would normally do on my other wheels feel on the Z10. I always like the Segway app. Very clean. They do a good job of updating it. It actually shows speed in miles per hour instead of kilometers per hour. It has an imperial measurement option, which is always nice. It's the only app that I've seen with EUCs that does that. Native app. Weird, I feel like I want to do similar controls as I do with the Monster, where I'm kind of using my legs to lean into the top of the shell, but since this has a much shorter profile, you do that lean and there's nothing there. So it's definitely a hybrid riding style that I have to use with this. Say hello. I got up to 17 miles an hour so far. I'd like to see if I can hit 20 maybe. I don't really need to go much faster than that, especially just getting on it. Alright, so I'm going to do a more aggressive forward lean here. Alright, just cracked 20 miles an hour. Feels a little weird, you know, because again the pedals are so wide and the wheel itself is so wide. I don't know. I feel a little unsure of myself at speed on this right now, but that will get better. So although Cindy isn't feeling up to doing a full out ride on this, she did say she will get on it like up against the fence and just, you know, maybe just go forwards a little bit so she can say she's officially the first woman in the United States to be videoed riding a Z10. So I'm going over these speed bumps to get a feel of what this tubeless tire feels like. But yeah, I can see what they were talking about. It is definitely very firm over there, and if you aren't ready for it and you don't have like your knees in shock absorbing position, I could definitely see that catching you off guard and launching you off the pedals. So yeah, be ready for bumps. If you are a stiff-legged rider, you are gonna have some issues, I think. I would say when you're turning this at high speed, you have to really commit to the turn. You can't just kind of baby it. You gotta lean, use your body weight more than you typically might have to with a normal width wheel. Definitely have to use more body English. Although, you know, I can turn. I'm turning pretty tight here. You can still do this, but doing it at speed's a little bit more difficult. Okay, trying to do some aggressive braking, get some wobbles when I do that. But the response felt decent. It's not bad. For me, with the wheels I have, it feels totally in line with what I have. So I have no problems with the power. All right, so Cindy is standing on it to see how it feels.
Wow.
She is the first female I know of that's on film in the United States riding a Z10 back and forth.
I'm telling you, going straight, it feels very stable.
I know, I'm just trying to get the feel of it, the weight.
Don't the pedals feel wide? I mean, look how much.
So nice.
Look how much space you have to the outside on those pedals.
Well, you like to go outside. I like to hold it.
No, but they feel wider than the M Super pedals to me.
They're incredibly wide. I think they're totally
They're not that
wide.
long, but they're wide.
Yeah, you would need longer, I think.
Yeah.
But the wide is nice. The width is definitely nice.
It's surprising.
Ooh, mind you, I haven't rode in a while.
But you see how stable it is going straight? It's so fat. I mean, it doesn't want to tip, which makes it tougher to turn. But going straight, yeah, pretty easy.
That's nice.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Definitely,
Good though.
definitely feels different than anything I ever rode.
Yeah. My back is going.
Actually, the wide pedals probably work well with your calves. You probably have more space, I would think. Actually.
Yeah, the width between it matches like.
Yeah, I didn't think
Not
because it doesn't have any pads on the side at all.
No, but it hits my calves perfect.
Yeah.
And the thing is, because the pedals are so wide, like already wide apart, it definitely gives space.
Yeah.
It looks so freaking solid and huge.
I was saying outside or at the house that the one word I would use to describe it is dense. It just feels like a dense unit. It just feels dense.
Definitely.
Almost feels like it's made out of
Yeah, I
lead.
like it, you know. The weight of it though, could I just now freely and just, you know,
Probably.
because my knee is so, I don't want to risk.
All right.
Yeah, it's heavy. I won't try that. Maybe if I wear my great.
All right. So at least from a 2-minute test, Cindy gives it her stamp of approval.
I like it funny.
Yeah, it does fit her well, definitely.
Yeah, if you're the type of person who rides holding it, I think you'd enjoy it too. And you like the outside of it.
Yeah. Well, it feels weird to me though because it's ouch.
Huge.
I'm gonna go on the track and do a lap around the track quick. We're doing a quick lap around the track here. So it's a gradual turn, but you can do it pretty quick. So curious how it feels. And as is always the case, I always feel more comfortable leaning and turning to the left than to the right for whatever reason. Let's see, will that work? What are the odds of that staying? Let's see. Yeah, the acceleration and deceleration feels steady. You know, it's great. It feels controllable, predictable. So yeah, that feels fine to me. All right, so I want to go towards the back there. All right, so I know this grass is very uneven for me riding my other wheels across it. Very bumpy. So I'm curious how the Z10 will feel in these conditions. There are some unexpected ruts from vehicles driving through here. They've had them almost throw me off several times. There was one. And this is pretty high grass. Grass is probably 4 or 5 inches high. There we go. Successfully navigated out of the grass. Awesome. All right, when I was over here the other day, I said I wanted to see how I do riding the Z10 in and out of these nice little tight turns, and I can tell you based on some of my other slow speed maneuvering that I should be fine. So I can definitely turn it pretty well going slow. That turn's not much different than what I can do on a normal width wheel. It might. perhaps you could hear that. There's some thunder in the background. As we were riding back this way, the school lightning alarm went out, or went off. It's pretty terrifying. It sounds like a nuclear launch warning. So Cindy might head back ahead of me, and I think I'm going to ride a little bit more yet. So I wonder what carving is like in a Z10. Let's see, can we do it? Not like, we can't do it like T-Shawn, but we can do it. Yeah, I almost feel like you almost have to get really strong turning, you almost have to kind of shift your weight back a little bit, you know, as you're leaning into it. Yeah, the first woman in the United States to be on a Z10. On film, to my knowledge. That might not be an accurate statement, but let's just make believe it is. Okay. It might be. Alright, Cindy is shoving off for home, and I'm gonna kind of go back to the way where we came from and maybe fart around a little bit more and go out through the waterways development and back Mafia Road. So it'll be a short little commute, see how it feels. So I think the way that I'm going to cover this is going to be different, you know, than what the New York City guys did, and I think that makes sense because you don't want everybody kind of covering the same things, reviewing it the same way. I think variety is helpful to the potential buyer. And I don't know that I've mentioned up front, although you probably have seen the logo that's at the bottom of the video, but we owe this opportunity to Jason from ewheels.com. He's the one that has allowed us to test this unit, sending it up to New York City first, down to me. I'll be sending it out to Chooch in Denver, and then Chooch will be sending it to Marty. So yeah, big thanks to Jason for allowing us this opportunity. I think it's really great idea. And yeah, I'm already getting, it feels like I'm already adjusting, my body is adjusting to throwing this thing around pretty quickly, so that's cool. I mean, I can even go backwards, so can't be that bad. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So anyways, what I was going to say was, you know, how my style is different than Chris's and Tishawn's and Marty's and Chooch's. So I think it'll be good for anyone that's interested in this wheel to get the different perspectives. I have probably 4 or 5 different areas that I'm hoping to take this to test it out and see how it does in those conditions. I have the next 2 full days off, so I literally plan to, outside of taking time to charge this, I plan to dedicate as much time as possible to putting it through its paces. So it's going to be a lot of video. Let's go off this lip. There goes the bunny. I think this foot position is just about right for me. I'm not pressed up against it, but yeah, that feels pretty good. All right. Cruising this speed feels very, very easy. Very stable right now. Doesn't feel like the wheel is working at all. Current temperature 114 degrees, not bad at all. And I'll at least tell you one spot that I plan to go, which you probably already know, is to Dunkin Donuts and back. That's a staple test for me, almost like Overheat Hill for Marty. Okay, heading out of the waterways development, getting on a Mafia Road for some brief, straight, but relatively high-speed cruising. Oh wow, 24, okay. Still feels pretty stable. A little bit of wobble, you know, because I literally had no part of my body touching the shell at all. So yeah, you feel a little bit of a wobble, but the key to controlling wobbles is to try to ride relaxed, which is what I'm doing. All right, we do have this standing order from the construction that's going on right here, so you're going to get a first-hand look of how the Mudguard does as far as controlling water. Not very deep, but definitely wet. Okay, I can report I felt nothing going up my rear end, so that's a good thing. Cross 25, that's plenty fast enough for me, and you can tell it has more to give, definitely. But it feels good on the open road here cruising. The pedal stiffness feels good. I wasn't able to find that setting. Supposedly there's like a 0 to 4 setting for the firmness in the wheel. I wasn't able to find that yet in the app, but whatever it's at now feels pretty good. It feels, if I were to guess, I would say it's a 0. It feels very stiff right now, which is my preference. Okay, we've made it back safely. Feels good. I'm looking forward to the Dunkin Donuts ride. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Okay, so here's night 1 of my experimentation. I'm going to dig some more in the app, I think, tonight, but I think that's going to probably cover it for the riding for tonight, and look for a lot more tomorrow. If you like this video, please give a big thumbs up. If this is your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing, and feel free to leave your comments, questions, or things you want to know about the Z10 below. Be sure to also check out Fit Farm Chick on YouTube or fitfarmchick.com. She's looking to get to 200 subscribers. So anyways, big thanks again to Jason from eWheels for giving us this opportunity. And until next time, stuff me out.